We've got Becky and Ellis here from our lettings team to talk a little bit more about what's happening in the rental market and the How to Rent guide. BBC News have recently reported there's a shortfall of properties which is creating a bit of a frenzied rental market. What is your view on that and what's happening here?
So yeah, absolutely.
Like twins.
Yeah, definitely is a bit of a frenzied market.
So people can't find, or
There's just a huge demand. There's so many people looking, not very many properties out there. So we are kind of inundated, aren't we? Every property we list.
you're getting loads of
And the
viewers.
majority of properties as well, they're not even going onto Rightmove. So it's definitely make sure you register beforehand. We can have that good conversation with them then and let them know before it even goes available.
Any further, yeah. And do you think that's because house prices have obviously, well, maybe not house prices as such, but the cost of living's obviously gone up.
Yeah,
Are you getting many
absolutely.
people that are selling and then going into rented, or are you finding it still kind of like first-time renters or seasoned renters, or?
I think a real mixture, but there
Yeah.
are a lot of first-time renters who potentially would have been first-time buyers
Fine.
who
Yeah.
can't afford to at the moment with the mortgage rates.
And they've decided to rent for a little bit
Yeah.
longer until.
Yeah.
And what about your landlords? I guess they're happy because are they still getting more for their houses than they thought they would be getting?
Well, this is the thing as well. When
Which
they're going
seem-
up for renewal, obviously the rental prices
Yeah.
you go through, obviously what's going on in the market, current market conditions, and obviously prices are a lot higher. So the rent reviews are a lot higher as well.
Fine.
So, but actually, it's really hard because obviously if they've, their mortgage rates have probably gone up as well. So it's all relative really from
Yeah.
a landlord's point of view.
And how often can they review the rent?
Once a year.
Yeah,
once a
every
year.
12 months.
And do tenants, so on the tenant's perspective, do they get like warning that it's going to go up? Or does it just kind of change when the contract
No,
renews?
it's 2 months, absolutely.
Oh,
So,
okay,
and
fine.
it's not just right.
It's done.
It's an extra £50, £100 a month. There is a conversation about it as well. And actually, there's been a lot of landlords who have said, no,
Don't worry about it.
don't worry about it.
That's
because
nice,
actually, from
isn't
a
it?
cost of living point of view, they'll rather...
Yeah,
sort of
it's funny,
suck
isn't
up.
it? Because they're probably thinking cost of living wise, they need to put the rent up, but also they're feeling it. So it's like,
Yeah, and if you've got a good
do you put it
tenant
up,
in
or are you
there-
trying to be
Yeah.
like relatable and
Yeah.
understand what they're going through as
Yeah,
well?
but if they've been a good tenant, they're looking after the property.
Been there
and,
like
yeah,
a while.
Yeah,
Don't want to rock the boat. You just want to
Yeah.
think, actually, they're looking after it.
yeah.
And are you getting many that are like going back to market because the rent's gone up and the tenants have decided they're not able to afford it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then that's a knock on because they're actually realising
They're not
hang
gonna
on,
get
They're not
anything
going to get
else.
anything else. It's really tricky. It is really hard at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel for tenants. I really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, it does
It
sound
is
really
hard.
tough. I guess landlords are kind of okay because they've already got the tenant. They might be in a position where they can put their rents up, or they're being really kind and they're not putting it up. But tenants probably just don't know what's coming, do they?
No. I know someone as well, and they were paying £900 a month for a nice 3-bed house, and their landlord has literally, she came to me with some advice and said, right, okay, we want £1,300 a month now.
Oh my
She's just like,
gosh.
no way.
Is
we
that a
can't pay it.
reasonable increase?
Absolutely unreasonable.
Oh, fine,
Yeah,
okay. So that's
absolutely
not like
unreasonable.
that's
No
like
way.
that's not the norm.
No, yeah.
And can the
there's-
tenant come back and say, "I'm not paying in that example 1,300, but I'll pay you 1,000"? Is that like that's still a
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously that goes back to the landlord. And
Yeah.
like I said, it's
So kind of like if
negotiation
you're
between the two.
nagging a deal
Yeah.
on a sales property,
Yeah,
it's
this
the same
particular
sort of
one,
thing.
she's gone back and said no, so he's given her now 2 months' notice and said, right, well, I'm going to give you notice. And
But realistically, is he going to get someone else to pay that?
Depends
it's hard.
It's so hard,
what it
isn't
is.
Yeah,
it?
it
Say
is.
if that's a 3-bed house that they moved into 4 years ago at 900,
Yeah,
would be.
Yeah,
I know it's
Kind of
horrible, isn't
minimum.
it?
it
It's really,
is. Yeah,
really hard.
It is. It's just hard for like so many different reasons as
Yeah.
well. It's not
Yeah.
like just one factor. It's
No.
like everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think unless that awkward thing with tenants as well is obviously you're trying to keep them in place for your landlords, but if they phone and ask, or if they were to ask us whether they should keep an eye on other, what other rentals are letting for,
yeah.
you'd kind of be telling them to do so that if their landlord does decide to put theirs up, they know that it's
Yeah.
probably still not going to be as bad as them trying to go out and look for
Yeah.
something else. So there's nothing really anyone can do, is there?
It's hard.
Just have to.
Just the
Keep-
market as
yeah.
it is at the minute.
Yeah, it is.
And are you kind of, if the landlord's like in that instance wants to put it up £400, do you kind of say,
Yeah,
are you
that's-
happy to like have that honest conversation with them?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. fair
And do you
and
think
sure.
he's seen similar houses to his that have gone for that, which is why he's done it?
in that particular instance. I just think
He's just
I
trying
think
his
he's
luck.
trying his luck.
Yeah. Fair.
It's not fair.
Sounds just so rough for tenants.
Yeah.
But it will change.
Yeah.
It will come back
Well,
round, won't it?
It's like anything.
Yeah.
Like the sales market's gone.
Well, it's still like that now. Josh and Danny were in here earlier, there was like one report that said house prices have gone up, and then another one that was released on the same day
Saying
that
it's
says
gone
they've
down.
come
Yeah.
down.
And everyone seems to know exactly what's going to happen in 6
Yeah,
months. And
so
actually
weird.
no
So
one
weird.
knows.
And it's
Yeah.
like the same, isn't it? I think, though, interest rates might or may not come down, but they don't tend to come down like ever so quickly, do they? So the rental market, from a landlord's point of view, should be pretty good for
Yeah.
for the foreseeable,
Yeah.
really, shouldn't
Yeah,
it?
definitely. Yeah.
And what about first-time landlords? Do you think it's still a good time for them to be like, if someone's looking at buying a buy-to-let, still
From
a
an
good
investment
time?
point of view,
Perfect.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And say there
Top
are
money.
still really good tenants out there. You know, obviously we're saying the worst case scenarios here.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
how
yeah, of
high they
course.
can be, but genuinely there are some really lovely, good properties out there. And again, I think we've mentioned it before, but we're finding a lot of people that are moving from out of the area here. So
Yeah.
actually, even though from our point of view, oh my God, £1,300 for a 3-bed property.
Yeah, people from
actually,
elsewhere think that's reasonable, don't they?
further as you get down to the M4 Newbury, Reading,
Yeah.
actually that's a bargain.
So I guess while it's pretty tough on tenants, landlords are actually in a position now where they can try their luck,
Yeah.
can't they? Just see what
Funds
happens.
there. They'll
Yeah.
get
yeah.
Good.
it.